Okay. And we are going live. Here we go. Okay, guys. I cheated. I used an intro from one of our shows. This particular interview is for a school project. It's a final project I have to do for my media studies. My name is Giakoumis, and the video interview is with two distinguished individuals. Before I actually introduce you guys, though, there's a couple of I have to mention this is Media Studies, HUC 120, and Professor Jamie Riccio's class. So hopefully this will meet the criteria for my perfect grade that I'm looking to get, but that's beside the point. Chris Moore is with us, Dr. Chris McAuley. Both of them have they're online personalities in their own right. However, they also have day jobs. Chris Moore, you work with the federal government or for the federal government, and you are in the training area. You use high-tech, state-of-the-art, all types of digital and online apps, softwares, all kinds of crazy things that would is mind-boggling. I've gotten to see those and know a little bit about that. So you also online, in terms of your personality, you are the co-creator and the co-host of a streaming show once a week for 5 years, and that's called IFB Interfleet Broadcasting. So thank you.
Plug.
There we go. That's right. And Dr. Chris McAuley, day job, you are involved heavily in the gaming industry, the video gaming industry, and you also are an esteemed and highly regarded author, national bestseller, an award winner in many different fields, from writing to filmmaking, as is Chris Moore. You hold a PhD in theology, and you are currently involved in, I don't even know how many different projects. So both of you, thank you for taking the time out. We're here to discuss online privacy and how that impacts both of you. So it's interesting that both of you have online personalities that are separate from what you do for a living. And so there is, I would imagine, a gray area at some point. Some of this may or may not overlap. But Chris Moore, if you would, what do you divulge of your own personal information to gain access to on the web? When you're on the web, what is it that you readily will give up to access the web?
Well, normally it's my social security number, my address, my date of birth. Just kidding.
Oh wow! So you're like you're pretty much good with all of that, right?
Yeah, no. I try to not give out anything in regards to my actual information.
Okay.
If a site requires that you put down your date of birth, or a site requires that you put down your home address, or a site requires you have an email address, which is most of the time just email addresses, I either fake that address or not put in the real information. If it's a place that I need that they usually send they get smart sometimes, and they'll send you to get access to this site. They have to send you an email, and you have to approve the email. Then I have a junk email address that I keep for all of those kind of things that I need if I want to go to it.
Why do you do that?
So it doesn't interfere with my actual real email addresses. It's good to have the ability to go to that email address and go delete everything there without even pretty much reading any of it, because it's so much easier to go in there and say, hey, I know every one of these things is going to be fake, or any one of these things is going to be phishing, or every one of these things is going to be sales or something like that. So I use that.
Okay, that's a fair enough answer. So you definitely you take measures. Dr. McAuley, your take on the same question. What do you divulge?
Very little. There's certain websites require personal information for security or personalization purposes, but I think it's crucial to be mindful of what you're sharing and with who you're sharing it with. So I always advocate for caution online. You want to ensure that any personal information provided is shared with trusted and secure platforms. So I use privacy tools like VPNs.
Yep.
For Sony, work, we use two-factor authentication, and essentially, you got to use tech journals to stay informed about how your data might be used. We've got AI now, and they control my writing or whatever that I put out there, in the web, and it could be used, to create new products based on my work without my permission. So I have to protect my IP as well in today's digital age.
Well, speaking of taking measures, then you both mentioned email. Are you content with, or how do you contend with increasing amounts of spam email? Now, you already said that you have your, so to speak, throwaway email, but what about in your real email? What happens there? I know we all face that. How do you deal with that?
Well, I think there's a lot of tools that are automatically built into Outlook or whatever email program you're using that'll actually put it into spam. So make sure you check off which one's spam, and usually it learns that a little bit. I think that's the advantages. In regards to online personalities, I get inundated a lot with our IP gets inundated a lot on Facebook and those kind of things because I'm running. I keep my Facebook profile away from my business profile on Facebook, but you constantly get inundated with spam or phishing emails. It's just nonstop, and the only thing you can do with that, delete.
Wow.
Recognize it, delete it.
What about you, Dr. McAuley?
Well, yeah, look, I do a lot of work in gaming media and especially the Snookerverse. So email's a critical tool for me, and I have to be really proactive when managing it. So it's the same with Chris. Filters, spam blocking tools, dedicated email addresses for specific purposes. So we've got an admin at Stokerverse, then my specific email address, all that kind of stuff. It really helps in minimizing clutter. And you've got to be very careful about engaging with suspicious emails. Come on. You're not going to make the millions from the Nigerian prince. He promises you a lot of money. I've tried it with Nigerian princes. I've shown parts of my body and said no. So no, you've got to be very careful about how you interact with those things. You don't want to click links or download attachments unless you're 100% certain of their legitimacy.
So what about what is the value that you guys place on your privacy? Is it different online versus offline? And I want you guys to try to address this from the perspective that you understand that you both are online personalities, right? So you do have, like we said, you have a day job, but you are online personalities. So how does that play? Have you ever thought of the fact that there might be a difference between online versus offline and your privacy as these personalities?
I believe the online personalities and the offline personalities, they do conflict every so once in a while. But information-wise, what I value privacy-wise is, of course, my home address. But once again, it used to be back in the day, you could look somebody up in the yellow pages. So internet's not too much difference anymore. But if you have a house, you have a rental place, you can always find information on somebody. So there isn't a lot of information out there that I would consider private anymore. Maybe your social security number is a little private, is got some privacy to it. Maybe your date of birth, your home address, probably not anymore. Your name, probably not anymore. Those kind of things are very, very prevalent to be able to easily found out there. So try not to make yourself a target for somebody, identity thieves and things like that. I think that's one of the most important pieces in regards to the online personality versus the offline personality. Offline personality, I don't advertise where I work. I don't put on my Facebook page where I work at. I don't do any of those kind of things. So if you go to my offline or my online personality and find out, hey, his name is this, and go to my personality on Facebook. It's listed as private. You're not going to see anything in there unless you're one of my friends. And of course, you're going to go through there and make sure the people that you friend are actual friends and not somebody that just sent you a friend request.
So you've actually made it a point to separate your private stuff. Now, let me ask you this then, Chris Moore. Would you be doing the same thing if you had a different day job? Would you still be doing that? Would you be so into, this idea of separating one with the other?
I don't know. Depends on what my job would be. I mean, it's always about being somebody where you can't, I don't want to advertise anything that I don't have to get to the things I need to on the net. So I guess that's the easiest way of saying, I'll only divulge what I have to. I don't think it would change if I had a different job. I would still probably pretty much be a little cautious nowadays, especially nowadays with all of the capabilities of AI and everything else that, you want to just kind of be yourself online, but only to your friends, not to anybody who's public. Whereas with Interfleet Broadcasting and Tipsy Toaster, those things are, you have to protect those as well. Trademarks for those kind of information to keep people from stealing that identity. That way you can, there's a legal recourse other than, oops, you can't do that. Oops, you can't call yourself that. Oops, somebody else can become you online. So that's it's about the same. I don't think I would be in much difference in regards to my job being a different job.
Dr. McAuley, same question.
Yeah, I think it's being online, you've got a sheer amount of negativity and toxicity that can come with it as well, right? Internet's an incredible platform for collaboration, creativity, and community, but it's also a space where people can be rude, dismissive, and hateful as well, right? And that's without consequence.
Yes.
Mike Tyson said that, the reason that people are so rude on the internet is because they don't have the threat of getting punched in the face. So for somebody like me working on creative projects like Stokerverse or, when I'm engaging with fans, this can be quite frustrating. It can be very disheartening whenever focus shifts from meaningful discussions to unnecessary conflicts. So, but that being said, positive connections. I mean, the three of us met through the internet, and there's opportunities usually outweigh the negatives. I think it's about finding the right balance. So you got to be careful about how personal data, as Chris was saying there, is often exploited. Every click or interaction is tracked, stored, and sometimes sold without clear consent. So that makes it hard to feel secure, even when casually browsing, or working on the creative stuff. What drives me absolutely nuts is the constant ads, targeted contents, and breaches of trust, because that takes away from the freedom and creativity the internet should ideally offer. That's what the internet was really about at the start. I'm not talking about ARPANET, the military application of the internet, but when it evolved past that in the 90s, we were all told that build a website, create content, become very creative.
MySpace.
Oh, MySpace. Do you remember MySpace? Where you could have your own personal theme song.
Right.
Yep.
Pictures of your dog and the name of your dog.
Annoying as hell, but very creative, right? And that was the start of it. There was a lot of that. And there's a lot of restrictions now. And we are being targeted with our online data because, it's a massive resource for marketers. So there you go. That's my answer in a nutshell.
Well, okay. Now we will continue with some other questions offline. And I will take your separate answers and write those out in a short paper. Meanwhile, I'm going to put this up as a requirement. This is reporting fraud. So there's learn about and take action against privacy infringements. There's the Center for Democracy and Technology and how to prevent unwanted cookies, spyware, spam, get NetWise, and reporting to the Federal Trade Commission that oversees this. There's the website. So for anyone that's interested that sees this outside of my professor, this is going to be up on my YouTube channel. Here you go with reporting fraud, since we did touch upon, all those scams that are out there. Please be careful, be mindful. Gentlemen, thank you very, very much for taking the time out. This is close to the holiday season, and time is valuable. So I really appreciate it. Thank you very, very much. And we will talk very soon. Take care. Good night and stay safe.
Good night.
Night, mate.
Okay, end stream. Okay, so there we go.